good morning. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Balde. We are back again on another edition of this program. It's Wednesday. Today the date is 12th of March 2025. And, you know, Ramadan is going by very fast.
Yes.
I mean, I can remember when we just started fasting, you know, for the other people, the Jolas, and the Sarahules. If at all you were scared of fasting and you didn't start on time, well, there is an information telling you the longest day must come to an end. Yeah, so we are back, and I am with Julde Njai. Julde, how are you?
I am fine, Ibrahim. I'm okay. Good morning to you. Good morning to our wonderful, wonderful viewers. Good morning to Mboje. And to everyone who is watching us. Come no ko wahere yala momborom yirmande la mashallah. Bala weri korbi, it used to be so hot that I wonder this year nakala nyo ore. Why gis nga dipi weri korbi bum dore mom. Alhamdulillah.
Wow, exactly. Yeah. You know, we miss Mr. Adi Drame on this program, and wherever he is, we are praying for, you know, peace, you know,
well-being,
and his well-being. Yeah. Let him come back and meet us here in peace.
Sure.
So you don't know where he is?
Well, I know where he is. I just don't want to disclose it. Yeah, so
he's going to Mars.
He's going to Mars, planet Mars. But I mean, life cannot live in Mars for a very long time. So it's better he moved to another planet, maybe Pluto. Mr. Mboj, how are you?
Alhamdulillah.
How is everything going?
Not complaining.
Young Mategal I Turtam, and I don't understand those names. Mr.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. You you have before you start.
So by what take for small tanker? Fatal mo fufu. Fatal mo fufu. All right, so today on the program we'll take a look at the African Code and the newspaper review, and President of the Gambia Transport Union, Mr. Cisse, would be here. And we'll be taking a look at the transport structure as well. What are some of the plans and what have they achieved over the years? You know, transport remains to be one of the most vital sector in the Gambia. And still people are struggling to make sure they apply from point A to B. So clarifications will come. And they will be done by Mr. Cisse, the President of the Gambia Transport Union. So without wasting much time, Julde, let's move on to the African Code. It's a Hausa one today.
Yeah, it's a Hausa one, just like that of yesterday's. Our African proverb this morning, I'm not sure if it's a proverb. Yeah, it is. Who will argue with the fish about the number of teeth in a crocodile's mouth? It's an obvious one.
Who will argue with the fish about the number of teeth in a crocodile's mouth? You know, and who is going to tell the crocodile is experiencing headache? Who is going to tell the
fish about that?
The lion? You know, I saw something like that some years ago.
Okay.
Who is going to tell the lion that the crocodile is currently going through headache, something like that?
I have no idea what that might mean. But the one I liked about the lion bit, it's in Wolof. Naka yakal gainde nehna, wa yobuko. I love that one. No, coming back to this, this is an interesting one. I was just puzzling over it. So, I don't know, the fish and the crocodile, isn't it the fish knows?
They live
It's
together.
been very close, absolutely. You've seen it, very close. So, maybe the one with first-hand experience knows better than you do, if you haven't had that first-hand experience. So, I think it's about that. It's about experience, knowing it, you know, been there and done that. And then the person who hasn't been there and done that, so who should listen, you know, knowledge over speculation. I don't know.
Speculation, yeah, something like that.
Yes.
I have a similar interpretation of the proverb. I mean, it's pointless to actually argue with someone who is clueless about a topic, information or something, basically. You know, it's really pointless for me to come here and, you know, debate with you about philosophy and all of that, because I have little knowledge about philosophy. So that's basically so pointless. I'm just wasting my time, or let's say I'm just wasting your time, because I mean, I will not make any substantive argument as far as philosophy is concerned, because I have little knowledge about that. So it's pointless to actually indulge in something that is meaningless, something that is pointless, something that has no essence.
Arguing from ignorance.
Ignorance point of view.
We see that all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that is what it is. It's telling you experience is the greatest teacher. I mean, those that are experienced can able to guide you on what to do and what not to do. It will be easier. That's why most of these individuals, sometimes they will advise you to get someone who is going to guide you. I mean, be it religion, be it conventional education, be it work. You must get someone who guides you. That's why in our official setups, we have our, seniors, we have our superiors, to guide us through the right process. So there must be someone who steer the affairs, who knows, who understands situations, I mean, to be able to guide us. So that's my interpretation.
That's what it is. And I think it's particularly apt today with a good number of young people. Do you know what I've sort of noticed? Is it because of the internet, the phone? So apparently you can get any information and people go around reading stuff. So it creates that illusion of knowingness. A lot of these kids think that they know, but that illusion of knowingness is not quite the same thing as knowledge. Completely different. So on the internet you get fragmentary stuff, snippets, read this here, read that there. We don't even have the patience, the endurance to read long articles. Nobody does that anymore. But again, without that, the context, the depth that you need truly to understand something, you will never do. Yes, all you're going to have is just superficial fragments, as it were. But the whole story, a story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. But most people just grab a little bit and they go around thinking that they know. That's the danger today, especially with young people. Very little, and they think that they know. It's unbelievable. It's laughable sometimes. If it hadn't been
and half
so
education,
tragic.
half education is very dangerous.
They are more dangerous than anything else. They are more dangerous. That is why I think our societies are extremely difficult to rule. Half not educated. What's our literacy rate? 50-something. Imagine that. It must be extremely difficult to rule. Really. You wouldn't begin to do things, I suspect, until you get 70-80% of literacy educated people. Absolutely. That's when you begin to do things, really. that's
I mean, you mentioned education. Let's talk about, is education the only way to change a narrative in a nation? We have seen people who are not educated and, they've been doing very well.
Be careful, education and certification, as I said. We've said that sort of thing before. Education is a very funny word. It's a very funny
what is
term.
Education?
That is it. Who? Can anybody answer that? Do you know how many theories there are? But education is the way you give the human being survival skills, the most basic level. You're here to survive. Avoid this, don't do that, do it this way, otherwise you die, you kill yourself. So at the most basic level, education is for survival. Isn't it? This one. Then afterwards it becomes, we add words like self-actualization, to realize yourself, to, explore, expand horizons. All of these terms come into it. So education makes the person. Without education, really, there's no person. Maybe there's an animal, but you know what I mean. It is that the cultural goods. That's what we call education. That's what you want to give to the kids so that can survive. So it is everything. It is absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Yes, otherwise you
Well,
won't survive.
let's categorize education. I mean, when you talk about education, people think about the formal education.
The paper.
The paper education. And here I am sitting and thinking, okay, the education makes the human being. If you are not educated, you are more of an animal.
Yes.
So I am thinking those that did not go through. I'm thinking. I am here thinking those that did not go through the formal education. What do we call that?
No, it doesn't necessarily. That was why I said that. Let's be careful. Education is it's a very funny term. Yeah, of course you have the formal business. So do you want to tell me that before we had these schools, you know, the missionary schools, you know, our encounter with the West, with colonialism, then we had it. You want to tell me that people were not getting educated?
But how were they
They
educated?
were learning what they needed to learn to survive in their environment.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's the most basic the most basic thing that you need to know about education. So the formal stuff, let me tell you something, yeah? I've met people, never been to school and any of that, but the intelligence, extraordinary. I've met people with PhDs. To me, they're dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I mean, that's the concept. I mean,
it's very weird.
The notion that education only has to do with formal education,
Yeah,
I think
way,
that's
no
a
way.
wrong one. And you know, if we are a society where most of the focus is on formal education, but now I like the fact that there is a shift as far as other, you know, the informal education is concerned. I mean, they are now trying to incorporate that to our educational system, which is good. You know, with the introduction of the skill sets and all of that. I mean, a nation cannot just move with just formal education.
Well, let's put it this way, yeah? The ideal, is to have all our kids go to school. That's really what the ideal is.
Yeah.
It's just that the reality is that is not happening. Yet, I may not go to school, but I'm learning life lessons. I'm learning.
Sure. Skills.
Through interaction with people and skills. Because really, what do they say? Competence got sort of three components, isn't it? Knowledge, knowing things, skills, ability to do things, and attitude. We tend to forget attitude. Without the attitude, you are not competent.
Yeah.
I think education in our country should really focus on attitude, because our attitude sucks, as the Americans would put it so many times. The attitude is the problem. So I may not go to school, but be highly intelligent and be learning. And what does intelligence mean? That capacity to learn and apply what I've learned. Absolutely. Yeah. So you can have all of these skills without necessarily going through the formal structures. Yeah. It is not simply restricted to the formal one, even though the formal one refines it, you know, systematizes it, that sort of thing. It is fantastic. Yeah. But people who've been to school, who've gone to school, shouldn't think that they're really the intelligent ones. And if you haven't been to school, then you're not intelligent or something. Yeah. That is not true.
Absolutely.
That is not true.
So what do we have in?
Yes, we have the Foroya newspaper here. Let's move on. You know, as climate risk grow, Gambia struggles to adapt. You know, climate change again. You know, the depletion of the ozone layer, you know, causing a lot of greenhouse gases too, contributing to climate change dangers. You know, the Gambia is struggling to adapt. I've seen countries whereby it is worst in those countries when it comes to adapting to climate change, because you can see a lot of deforestation, you know, a lot of you know, factories, you know, emitting gases, you know. So Gambia is struggling to adapt. What is the Ministry of Environment doing? What is the NEA doing, I mean, to make sure Gambia adapts without any issues?
What would adaptation mean in our situation? The so-called greenhouse gases that we emit, we hardly emit anything. and the people who matter really don't care. You see, now we are in trouble. China doesn't really care about this, one of the biggest emitters. Now in the West, now we're seeing what's going on right now. Climate deniers, we tend to be the extreme right, they are on the ascendancy. That will be quite interesting where that one is going. How do you adapt? What is our issue, or what are our issues? Yes, deforestation, but what can we do to stop that? Who would listen? We cannot implement any kind of policies and laws. Just forget that. What else do we have, particularly in Banjul? Flooding. What can we do? Should we encourage people to move away from vulnerable areas? But again, our land planning, it seems we're not planning much. Anybody can just do anything. I'm afraid because of our institutional dysfunctionality, we will suffer. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We will suffer. We got an indication
and
with COVID-19.
Are we not even suffering?
We are suffering already.
Yeah.
Since we cannot run things. Independence, now here it is. Now you cannot run things. What do you expect?
So you are telling us we are stuck. It's
well,
like we don't know which way to go.
Well, I think we know. It's not a question of ideas. How do you implement them? Really, institutionally, things are not working. It's all over the continent, really. So, and now you've seen this. What next? Maybe this is just the tip of the iceberg with climate change. Who knows what can be 10 years, 15 years, 20 years' time? Could be worse. Look at Banjul, we are told, because of it's so low-lying. In 100 years' time, it could be history. There will all be water. Yeah. And then historians will be saying, that place, there used to be bathos. And then after it changed to Banjul, now look at it, it's all water. It seems we do not know what to do.
So what is going to be the contingency plan?
What contingency plan?
What are we going to do? Well, to make sure we prevent the worst?
What's happened in life, look, go through history. Whole societies have been wiped out and others will take over. Life is not sentimental.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot take care of things. Well, you suffer for it. There are no two ways about it at all.
All right, cement shortage in Gambia linked to port delays. Cement again. You know, cement and fuel seems to be very relevant in the Gambia. You know, without fuel, there cannot be movement. Without cement, there is also a problem. So cement and fuel, it's like we're spending our monies more on those things.
Yes, we don't make them, we import them.
We import them. That's the problem. Mr. Mboj, let's talk about how we depend on the outside world to survive. I mean, it's important for us to depend sometimes, but there are basic things that, you know, we would have done them in the Gambia. Let's take onion, for example. I mean, we can farm onion in the Gambia. I mean, we have the sand is fertile for onion cultivation. You know, we have the water. The water is good for watering. But still, we do not venture into agriculture to make sure we don't import onion into this country.
No, we go into agriculture. That's really not what the problem is. The problem is with agriculture. It's still largely subsistence farming, isn't it? Yeah. You just depend on rain. Your country, you haven't industrialized. Yeah. So there are just so many things that we haven't got right, just as we were saying earlier. So imagine a year or 2 or 3 years where you have a drought. And now with climate change, these are the things that we're saying. Either you have floods, lots of floods, or drought, these extremities. Exactly. Yeah. So what do you do? That's why we rely on, I don't know, outside expertise, outside resources, outside money. We rely so much on whatever's coming from outside. So this is it. It appears as if we put ourselves in a situation where, in many ways, at the mercy of circumstances. At the mercy. Look at just Trump when he stopped the aid. Do you know how many programs in Africa, do you know how many people are really suffering because of, it stopped that aid? So this is it. This is where we are. We are really at the mercy of, forces much bigger on the outside. This is what is.
So China cares because they are going, they are adopting to use of solar building environmentally friendly cities. I mean, so Mon just sent a message to tell us how China is trying to, change the narrative by building environmentally friendly cities and introducing solar energy as well to make sure, to reduce the risk of greenhouse gases.
Yes, China will be interesting. They call it the next industrial revolution. It's going to be green. And it seems China will be right up there competing amongst the best of them in the world. I mean, it's doing what it's supposed to do, the technology, doing the economics. China is not bad as a model to follow. I'm not sure politically, I'm not sure about our political system, but as a society, economically, the way they're growing, investing so much in technology and the like. And when you go there, they'll tell you the discipline, the work ethic. Extraordinary. There's so much one can learn, really, from China.
Absolutely, considering where they're coming from.
Yes.
I mean, to where they are now,
Where they were just in the 1970s.
I'm telling you.
Not long ago, in the 1970s. Look at it now, Maybe I wouldn't want that sort of one-party communist thing, but in their case, it doesn't seem to matter in many ways.
It works for
in
them.
the sense that it's working.
It's working.
Unless you are a dissident.
Yeah.
The dissidents are, being imprisoned, or you have to run away. There's the great poet Ai Weiwei, when you read his stuff. So they're doing nasty stuff politically to people who do not agree with the creed, the official creed. They will do nasty stuff to you. There's no denying that. But in other areas, I think they're getting that well.
And I think that's why Gambia also should really focus on what works for the Gambia. I mean, we can't be copycats forever. Let us focus on our realities on the ground. That is the whole point of adapting to situations, adapting to climate change, adapting to what really works for you as a country. I mean, you can't depend on Senegal. Because we are neighbors, doesn't mean that whatever works for Senegal will work for the Gambia. So, I mean, I think it's important for us to look inwards and then come up with solutions that really goes with our realities on the ground rather than just focusing on other. It's good. I'm not saying that we should not imitate or follow other models or what other countries are doing in order to better ourselves, but it's important to holistically look at the situation on the ground and then know what to go about.
Because situations might be different.
Different, yeah.
Obviously, no two situations are exactly alike. Yeah. It's never true, even though one must also say that certain things are universal.
Sure.
And some things are local. How do I combine? What is it that I can learn? What are the universal lessons that I can learn? And then apply it to my local conditions. This is always in the application, isn't it? How do you apply to your local conditions? So in the world, we are all interdependent. And ideas emerge out of other ideas. So this is it. You have this interdependence of ideas, of lives, especially the world we live in today. The thing is, let's go back. What does it mean to be a Gambian? What does it mean to be in public office? What degree of sacrifice should I be willing to make for the sake of this thing, this elusive thing we're calling development? We want to do so much. But again, the rhetoric and the actions are two different things. So even the basic concepts, I'm not sure whether we've got the basic ones right. What is our sense of nationhood?
Nationhood.
Well, how does it work? I do not know. Now I'm really very confused about a lot of things. I think today there's too much emphasis on Poli or Sarahole, Ole, there's just so much emphasis. When I was growing up, there was really none of that sense. We didn't talk of it that much as people do today. Then they tell you, I call and all that talk. I'm like, God, I had a friend. His surname was Diba. His surname is Diba when we were growing up. It really never occurred to me in the high key society at all. It's now that I've grown up. I'm thinking about it, yes, because what you bury out on. The emphasis was more on Gambia. So when you get Chahan, then you get Kal. Well, when things are okay, we live in peace, it works. Well, I'm going to Nahari, Sumbir mi Nahari, then Chahan get turned into something venomous. Really? Do you know that?
Wow. Lola, so that is what it is. What we have to do as a people, we need to focus on nation development.
That's it.
We focus on the nation first, the nation's interest first. That's the only thing that is going to take us forward. You understand? So, well, Gambia is a very small country. I mean, to move. I mean, once you have the right steps at the right direction, I have no doubt Gambia would be there. But it's a matter of commitment for us to take up that challenge to make sure, okay, we are going to do this. We are seeing Gambia as our country. I mean, there's nothing that's going to change that. Gambia first.
Gambia first. Yes, we all wish so. But this is where we are. So for the youth, perhaps, there are certain questions, certain, should I call them historical? This is your historical moment. When you look around now, what do you think that you ought to change? There's a lot of talk, youth this, youth empowerment, youth this, youth that I keep asking myself, well, you define youth as what, between 15 and 35. Those people who are under 35, they are in public office. Are they just as corrupt as people who came before? Then you haven't changed. You don't get it. You don't understand what's going on here. So how differently are these kids doing things? I am not sure.
Thank you. That is going to be a topic for another day, Mr. Boy.
I do not know.
That is corruption during the past days and corruption now. We need to talk about that. That's going to be a broad discussion.
Of course, so
yes,
the young.
Yes.
How have you changed the narrative?
Exactly. So viewers will take a short break. After the break, we're going to engage the president of the Gambia Transport Union. And, you know, we were talking about Ramadan land transport, you know, fares and traffic challenges. We'll be back.
QMoney is back again with its easy-to-use, secure and convenient mobile app that allows you to carry out all your transactions. No matter where you are or what time it is, you can always access your funds. With the new QMoney app, you can cash in and out, buy credit, buy QPower, shop, make payments, and so much more. You can also send QMoney, pay bills, receive international remittances, and transfer cash to others. Just download the app from your Play Store or App Store and get started. For more information, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sinu Kalpe. We innovate, others follow.
QMoney arti webi na fitora gol no yawi te non kadi no moƴƴi QMoney a wawa wadde piiji ɗin fow kala ko wonɗa wattu kala a wawa hendade mbuudi maɗin e o QMoney app kesong a wawa nattinde mbuudi ma ɗum yaltina soda credit soda QPower soda ko falaɗa te non kadi wawa hen yoɓude himɓe e ko heewi ida wawi kadi nuldude QMoney yoɓa bilji maɗin te non kadi hendoɗa mbuudi ko yaasi nulda himɓe kadi mbuudi fi nafitoragol ɗum no weeɓi yahu ka Play Store ma ɗum ka App Store fi wawa fi hebugol hen ko laaɓi noddu QMoney customer care e 133 QMoney suñu kalpe minen udditi laawol ngol si woɓɓe jokki.
QCell's Q Prayer and Q Ramadan service reminds you of your 5 daily prayer times and the start and end times for your fast. Simply send prayer to 331 to be reminded of the 5 daily prayer times. Send Ramadan or fast to 332 to be notified of the start and iftar time of fasting on a daily basis. QCell wishes you all a blessed Ramadan. We innovate, others follow.
QCell's Q Prayer kanyum e Q Ramadan service andintintama wattu mo julata darɗe joyɗen fow e wattu mo fuɗɗotoɗa horugol e wattu mo taƴata. Nuldu prayer ka 331 fi anda wattu mo julata darɗe joyɗen fow
noldu ramadan maɗum faska 332 andintintama wattu mo fuɗɗotoɗa e wattu mo taƴƴata horugol mangol kiwsel no duwanoma sumaye wonduɗo e barki minen udditi lawol ngol si woɓɓe jokki.
Thank you very much. We are back again. You're watching QTV this morning, and I am Ibrahim Abalde. Now let's move to the second or the third segment of this program, rather. And in the studio, we have the president of the Gambia Transport Union, Mr. Omar Sise, and we'll be talking about Ramadan land transport fares and traffic challenges. It's important for us to discuss this because along the way, when you are going home, you see a lot of people, you know, trying to get transport to get to their homes or destination on time. And sometimes it becomes a big struggle and it becomes a nightmare for almost you know, half of the population of this country. Yeah, so we have Mr. Sisay. Good morning. It's good to have you here.
Morning, Mr. Balde. Thank you so much for this invitation. Ramadan Mubarak.
Thank you. Thank you. We wish you the same.
Yes.
And we are praying for Allah to accept our worship and forgive all our shortcomings.
Amen.
Yes. So let's start with what is the transport union up to at this time of Ramadan and Lent? Muslims and Christians are observing fasting simultaneously. So what are you doing to make sure there is smooth transportation?
Thank you so much. I think this is very important subject as far as G2 is concerned. Currently, our operational team is working with the regional chairmans, some certain garages where most of the people have been facing challenges.
Nañ ko olofal Omar because yow tey dama la parel na nañ ko olofal rek nañ dem olof
waaw baax na ba loolu du passé suñu diggante na MC biti rek bu fi accès
waaw baax na amul problème man moom dinaa la bàyyi ak Julie
waaw nañ ko olofal
bu ma bàyyi ak moom de
okay
yeah GTU we as a union level ñu ngi our operational team ñu ngi working with the regional offices working in certain garages yoo xam ne ni askan bi dem fa di face challenges in terms of movement rush hours. So starting operation with the Costa Road past 3-4 days. So I remember our teams are there, make sure the motor the MC garage be. Also you pick passengers to their final destinations. And also we will extend that operation to Brikama, Serekunda, you name them. So today we have our national committee meeting across the country. All the garages, all the regional chairmans, they are being present currently in my office pour ñu discuss the current challenges within the transportation ak lan lañ mën a def pour ñu mën a ko wàññi si driver yi si askan bi fii ba balaa jul bi after julli
waaye Omar si lu ma dégga yow si sa kaddu it's like transport union bi da ngeen busy more on the welfare of drivers and not also focusing on the welfare of the commuters or the customers because noonu laa ko mun a waxee lan ngeen di def ba def a strike a balance between yéen driver yi seen intérêt waaye tamit nag ñoo xam ne daal ñoo nekk di jël véhicule si on a daily basis ñoom tamit ngeen saama gaay seen ak seen yëleef.
I think that is a very important question. Our principal responsibility is to protect the welfare of the drivers. That's our principal responsibility. So loolu mooy suñu mandate but at the same time to promote free movement and safer transportation, effective transportation is part of our mandate. So complaint we receive, la ñoo digest, assess and implement. So most of our complaints from the transport workers.
Yan façon complaint ngeen dey receive?
Xam nga well in terms of the nature of transportation, the harassments and the operational costs, you know, their well-being here and there.
When you say harassment, si kan la dey jóge vehicle owner sila wala customer sila fan la dey jóge problem
in this harassment here lu ma mën a wax ne lu gën a complain yu gën a bari si côté police la di jóge ci complain about police lu leen di def fu ñu dee jaar ak ñoom lu leen di teg daf dee jógee si vehicle owners but most of the complaint within them and the traffic police officers.
Police officer waaye fooguloo ne tamit yow as the transport union boss jël nga jéego comme issues seriously to tackle them, because driver itami in most cases in this country, that is just the reality, Omar. Drivers, see, they don't respect traffic rules, they don't respect traffic regulations. Most of their vehicles come all the required documentation. That is just the truth.
I don't know, so many driver. I think some drivers, I think are very comfortable with the word, but drivers, that is very general.
Wow, some drivers.
Yes.
Let us rectify that. Majority of them, Omar,
no,
here on a daily basis, then they work on about transportation issues in this country.
So the drivers are not respecting the traffic rules. I think that's going to be a very big found word for the police. Yeah. How many police officers you have the traffic? Make sure they implement those laws. Drivers are not compliant. So I think that's a very good found word. Magna police. Because that means they be in that road. No matter what I'm because previous years don't get there. Because for me, I'm a Gambian, I respect the traffic rules and traffic regulations. No, why somebody mulige without respecting that? I feel that each of everyone, your principal responsibility to respect the laws. No, anywhere someone talking about money, we are not supporting anyone who violate the law. Because that is beyond our scope. Law is here forever. I respect the law. I expect everyone to respect the law. And that's why I police out the highway. I have driver's license. I have all need requirement in my vehicle. So why can I do that if I go support? I don't have even that mandate.
Why legi ndax as part of your mandate, then they sensitize driver, create awareness creation for them. Pour ñu mëna gëna bay xel ci traffic rules and regulations ci tamit gay respect ko. Ndax da ngeen dé def lolu nonu, and how often do you do it?
Daily basis.
On a daily basis.
Because it's not about Omar himself, it's about executive. It's about the region. We remember we have an executive. Comprise a good number. We have an operational team. We have regional offices. We have regional executive. It's about teamwork. And more than now, drivers very understanding. They do police learn sometimes because people are going to victimize you because more than now, people do not have resist. No, so you call it based on our experience, our understanding about the laws. No, we have very direct connection with the police. Sometimes our people affected, but sometimes police offended because they have no understanding. Hanga like New culture, so give the police a lower dega. In those days, lower dega.
Wow.
Yeah, fake sometimes it's offended you. We are all driving a vehicle. Sometimes police stop like the law just to waste your time. So these are issues people try to understand about the rules and regulations, about the responsibility, about what is the needed, and even offense both criteria boka. Because offenses are different offenses. Yeah. But sometimes the new bole your document. So we are doing this, we will continue to do this because that is part of our mandate. Pour nit ñi xam lan mo le war lan mo warut. Dafa melni secteur bu nekk rek bala ñu ñëw dafa ñu bari xamutoon. But now we are making our best to make sure to engage them, our WhatsApp groups, using this platform. I think QTV is a very good partner with us, inviting us to discuss our members. After the discussion, you bari, then they jangesi, hamlan. But to be honest, we are doing much about it. We expect, when we short period of time, there's big changes in terms of their well-being, their legal expectations. I know exactly because remember, these laws you have been talking about here, Naga, Julde. No, not the English. These laws are here since 1996, 1948. Jamana Gambia, you go fake. But I don't know how many times this law will come to people told about it. Even some police officers don't understand these laws. I'm on record. Some of the police officers don't understand it. So now, putting your power together, come more implement law, understand the law very well. Some of the laws are not even major or current realities. So these are all challenges. But that's why as a union, we feel that this law cannot be continued. What can we do to engage the government to revisit this law and bring law more we have been successful on that because we have partnered with the government. Government look fund then now we are working even to not transport act about more traffic transport bill. Because remember this current laws is existing. We are all Gambians. So some of the issues they create more harm than good. But most of the issues we have been complaining here in this transport sector, even though it's not there. So now, if you want to modernize that sector, what can we do? Bring the good laws. So now that's why as a union, let's have a road transport bill, all inclusive, including the movements, transport aspect, the commuter garages here and there, so that you have confidence law kuneka dina gis bobam. But this current law is about the motor traffic regulation and motor traffic act. About the vehicle aspect of it, but about the movement of people is very silent. So now what can we do? So these are issues you understand and go, but that's why we are urging the authorities, work with them, make sure we bring the realities. What
about the appointment for drivers? I mean, you're talking about appointment letters for drivers. I mean, how do you expect us to do that, Mr. Cisse?
It's a very simple job, in my understanding, and based on my experience, and Gambia, ñu ngi wax lu bari ba suñu defee suñu analysis lu jafe our current laws mooy Labour Act dafa ne ku nekk soo ko lii da nga ko war a employé koo muntu doon suy liggéey under you da nga ko war a implement letter mooy contract contract dafa am terms and conditions lii moo la war lii waru la because ku nekk am na right ku nekk am na responsibility noonu nit suy liggéey nit war a fara fi si coow man li may def nag tey maa fi tey like Umar mënut a jot rek mu ne demal ñibbi nun that is affecting our sector da ngay xëy suba nga dégg nga wàcc ñu ne indi fa sa caabi wa daaxanaa la doo xam exactly loo nga def so in that guy xagalum lan la mën a dee indi si trafic bi mooy series of road accidents because da ngay condition driver bi every day li nga war a werse driver tamit mu ngay werse su ma defee nii man naka la mën a dundee suma famille bi mu ngay daw si kaw di overspeed yi pour mën a recover that money nun that is a threat to our national security go to the ILO resolution 2019 dafa wax ne su buggee wàññi wax il faut ñu indi decent work for transport workers. Decent work you cannot have decent work without in contract. If you have a social benefit like today nga dawal moto bi nga màgget nga dem toog si kër dem si garage di wa driver yi mandat here and there lii yëpp mën nañ ko fànk parce que lu waa dafa ne soo employé nit yi every month nga ko war a fay 10% of salary to social security mu fay 5%. So dem retire, xaalis boobu mën na ko use ko suñ yaay ak suñ papa yi. But now driver in that sector is not there. And also we are realizing revenue. Because lu waa dafa ne kuy fayeeku end of the month more than 3,000 this year war nga mën a contribute more than 3,000 war nga mën a contribute GRA. Are we been contributing?
Tax.
No. Even about tax aspect in terms of national development, we are not. So suñ bi ñëwee yëpp end of the day nga driver can we road accident dina wàññeeku and also dina indi income generation for the country. ITF International Transport Workers Federation dafa wax ne su mu bëggee wàññi road accident dañoo increase transport drivers fare for 10% dina wàññi accident to 30%. These are all service, are real service. So in that regard, more time you use that because we are part of the team. You have consultation in terms of new Labour Act. The section is there. More than ku nekk dañ ko war a employ. So the employee nag dafa war a make sure ne within 2 weeks mu employ mu lodge complaint to the Labour Department. But now ñun lu ñu wax mooy ne how can you do that? Let's bring transport regulations. Because without that regulation, it's not jafe. Moto bu nekk dafay daw si kaw tali bi. Like Burkina Faso, the current president, Burkina, dafa pass a decree. Mooy ku daal si moto di war a am social card or dina park moto bi. This is part of the requirement now. Police dafa laa stop ne la am sa social card. Mu xool whether are contributing here and there. But suppose respect now. These are things now. To go to the Burkina Faso. But like you start, the number is around 5,000, 10,000. But now they are close to 500,000. These are very good for economic growth. And top of that, they are well-being for tomorrow. So more than you go ne su amee good regulation dina capture all this di nga seet ne borom moto bu jënd moto bi dina xam ne fu may jënd secteur bi jëriñ dina fa nekk because end of the day dina am lii but driver tamit na xam ne lu man tamit suma welfare kenn ko because am na right am na responsibilities but so fekkee dina contexte na there dañoo continuer di ngiri nga rek end of the day we are failing our future generation coming this are we feel na ne as far as capturing the law we can implement it through consultation through regulation through guidelines because transport is not guided by any law currently. Na waxata dekate de tey lu da ngay xëy suba jënd sa taxi compte dem sa compte bi nga pentul ko suba ko dugal sa trafic bi loolu moo xew.
Wow, and that is not right.
In security aspect sax ñaata nit moo use color taxi because it's not a taxi color taxi def criminal activities where are you going to track them where are they because buñ doon jënd moto bi color ko yéeguloo ko so ñun lu ñu wax mu ne kuy nekk moto Gambia soo jënd moto pour nekk commercial transportation da nga war a gis sabiti government through Minister of Transport dafa am système bu mooy créer julde moom moto bi lii mooy moto bi the purpose of transportation loo bëgg a def da nga ko war a indicate.
Well, Lolo, is it in place?
Not yet.
But it's supposed to be in place.
That's why we are talking about the regulation. Regulation will bring that the realities. ba ko lo amut les so amé now
yan façon kola nga wara use for commercial purpose because ama dey use
taxi rek mo am kola fi taxi but now you know even taxi is not now c'est ku nekk so jëne mo yaay taxi whether private la wo whether commercial la wo whether tuk-tuk la wo Gambia mom lu ne way def no wante def because tay go to our current laws tuk-tuk amul benn place ba mu ngi am go to our laws private mo ñoo fi gëna taxi léegi go to our laws people even they don't even register as a commercial, they are doing commercial. Motor these two number plate yellow and white. Different is about commercial and private.
Exactly.
No more different.
So number plate B is the only indication that you put one and be private.
Yeah. But if some people prefer to use one number plate for that, but all vehicle code is yellow, the front is a commercial vehicle. Like today, pickup is a commercial. Taxi. But now, if you go to traffic, you know a private new taxi. No, it's against the law.
No, bari na.
Is that DJ? Dañoo gis relais yu taxi. Dañoo gis tuk-tuk yu taxi. Xanaa dañoo bàyyi ba ngi sécurité taxi ñoo sa di loi. No, mun na am. So now is the high time for you try and bring something, bring in the protection for the sector, not Omar, but for our future generation coming. Because you know one of the our previous leaders no go buy no. Are we the young buy new them buy ko ni?
Wa legi Mr. Cissé, lan moo tax affaire si mu ngi naxari? Mënuñoo implement yooyu noonu pour ñu mën a am a very straight and a good structure when it comes to transport system. What is our problem?
Our problem is in my point of view and the point of view of the union. When our previous leaders ñu nganga transport bi ñu nganga réew mi talon transport faale ko yégaluñ ko. Because remember in 2021 the government am director of transport and minister of transport. In 2021 here. So past the cage, I'm in a full minister of transportation. I'm going to come and say resolution for transportation. So what can you do? Come the more than a policy making institution. I'm a sector one. Kufa talk. Kiran in some pull hold sector bomb. Come that me that help. Currently I'm 2021. So now we bring the transport bill from transport policy from 2018 to 2028. We have to road safety strategy. Currently we are working transport bill. I think this is the way forward.
Ñoo foog nga ne suñ amee da loi bi ndax driver yi wala commuters yi dinañ ko respect because xam nañ ne dañ dee toog fii di ko wax Gambia we are very good at drafting laws. But respecting it is a problem. And even the transport sector, you are also even yéen sax da ngeen guilty of that because da ngeen fi amoon the issue of the stickers pour ñu destination A to B boobu noonu wokkut ñu am fi tariffs yi boo xam ne daal is set out for everyone to know. Why still now, in occasions where I see increase a fares, whether there is amuñ fuel, whether there is something, whether festivities, drivers, some of them, then they increase the transport fares.
I agree. Look at the waral moy number one, in terms of about the road lancing we feel it's important because because remember we are part of international organizations, sub-regions in Africa internationally. Dañoo tukki gis li ñoo def seen réew mi. ñu admire ko ñu fi ne Gambia mën nañu am discuss na li with ministry all stakeholders but agree ñu indi ko policy yi mën ko implement that is beyond union de
policy yi ñoo mënuñ ko implement
yes am record ñu mënuñ ko implement du loi
like sticker bi time boobu Westfield Banjo
ñu ne du loi ku ko afo hanga sometimes for me suma point of view def lay ute ku ko violate lu la def lu la charge it's not about charges it's about money generation it's about bring the reality. At least mun nañoo jàpp because ñu jàpp nañ si ñu nu war a represent transport yi jàpp nañ si su government ñoo si jàpp at least 90% dina nekk reality.
fii daal bu nekkoon individual interest. gaa dañ laa ne.
because
it's not part of the law.
policy li ñoo xool mooy. suñu laajee nan la bind receipt bi pour ñu collecte xaalis bi. that's not the purpose of the bring the regulations. That's not the purpose. The purpose
so da nga bëgg a wax ne loolu dafa fail because of policy.
dafa fail because mënuñ ko implement because man du ma ko implement yow doo ko implement.
waaw because nekkul individual interest.
yes
bu nekkoon individual interest.
my problem is here. bu nga discuss you are on the same table.
waaw.
We all discuss it together.
And you agreed.
Discuss this start with the Minister of Interior. Discuss it. That's why we are in forefront. Never to drive. But for me, I'm a Gambian. Number two, Lumamana Defi Yalola my ate. My Sumakadu Mumla am. So that's why I'm going to implement in the forefront at the Westfield. Everywhere, make sure use TV stations, particularly GQ TV, discuss about it. But soon I'm going to implement. But I don't have time for this. Even I don't have that mandate.
Wow.
And number two, regarding to soon the law not implement. Law so in the ngora consult everybody. Mo in the commentam hamlan mo fanek. The current law is fanek kan mo ko hamlo fanek. You hamlo man hawma. Police be ham. Kan mo implement. Nobody. Because law bomb since 1948 mo fi. 1940 fekk Gambia amagul independent sin colonials bu nga amee amendment lan la ci amee mooy seat belt helmet mobile phone camouflage collar these are so few elements amend so that law is not reality moo tax now the new laws the feel did not consult even journalists you consult them and also you also during the process you will be part of it nga xam exactly lan moo fi nekk end of the day ñëpp na ko implement because everybody the police alone cannot implement the law de soo fekkee ne loi dafa ñëw people are not comply police cannot force it to people to comply law best way to implement the law is compliance
that's true
it's compliance and in terms of festivity like during Ramadan currently ñëpp ñu ngi woor Christian ñu ngi woor but the reality is
thank you time bi jeex na
déedéet
tey dinañ fi ñëwaat
mu ñëwaat de
yes
no problem
driver yi toog rek yokk a paas $50 $100 loolu daf fi war a jeex nag yi tamit nag nañu waxante dëgg
thank you very much for coming Mr. Cissé and Julde viewers this is all we have we've already exhausted the whole time until we come here again tomorrow have a wonderful day bye bye
Qcells Q prayer anin Q Ramadan service bal kala mutandila la salwati lulola anin wato minne be sungo datila anin kate prayer ki 331 prayer hakilo blandi la salwati lulola Ramadan wala fast ki 332 prayer hakilo blandi ibela sungo datila wato minna anin iba tela wato